Evening and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike here with Alex, coming to you from GreenDragonCVR in Woodbridge to talk about video games. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I've been playing a lot of Bloodborne lately, just smashing freaking Chalice dungeons and treating it like a dungeon crawler, which is cool because you can like flip back and forth between Chalice dungeon and like main game content, and like helps you like grind stuff. Makes some of it easier. It
makes the story easier for sure.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Chalice Dungeon gems.
How about you, man? How you been?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm playing Metal Gear 5. It's great.
Nice.
It's a great game. I'm about halfway through now. Quite enjoying it. Nothing like a Kojima game. I really like the cinematography and stuff, which one would expect from a Kojima game. But what I haven't enjoyed so much is considering the state of the industry in the wake of Skull and Bones. I wanted to say Skull of Thieves, but confusing live service pirate games in this late stage of the apocalypse, and the Xbox exclusivity discussion that's been raging for the past couple of weeks got me thinking again, about the sorry state of the industry and why it's this way and what it reflects about games and art and even society, and I really there's a lot of, of course we talk all the time about the reasons there are to be optimistic, but the industry as this like monolithic, slice of the economy, I guess you could say, that buys and sells video games and makes video games to be bought and sold. At least in the West, it's not in a good place.
No, I would say.
Much like a lot of Western culture. And I think the reason for this dilapidation is the same. There's some like hurtling towards everything becoming united in this matrix, this like a system of equivalency. Incidentally, we usually represent that possibility for making everything equivalent with a dollar sign, but money is just it's almost like a superficial way to look at that, right? That's one way to think of it, but really it's about how everything can be compared using a symbol we take for granted, right? Everything can be melted down and made into one kind of thing. Even your labor, what you do with yourself, parts of your body, value. It's all reducible to some trade format part, and I think that's what's happening with Xbox, with live service games, with games like Skull and Bones. What we see here is that same principle applied to our media, to the art that we enjoy, right?
Yep.
Instead of there being, games that exist outside of some sort of money-making scheme that might make money after they come into existence.
Somewhat coincidentally.
Yes, but they have it in their own determinate inner logic, separate from their economic consequences, you could say. Instead of that, now we have games totally reduced to their place within that matrix that I described.
That business, basically reduced to, a tool of business or a storefront, something that just hook you and keep you invested, paying, They're reduced to their socioeconomic effects. And I think even the relation to profit doesn't even have to be so direct, and it often isn't now. Think back on that thing Phil wrote in 2019 about games for everyone, where I think he very succinctly lays out in perfect form what the kind of thing I'm describing would look like. He says, why are games valuable? Why are games good? People ask me, and I respond by telling them they teach girls math, they make us friends, they have all of these social effects. They have these, they cause these blips in the matrix, these ripples on the pool. But the thing itself, did you learn math? Well, what else matters, bro? Did you talk to your friends? Well, who cares? This kind of thing, right? The focus is not on the artwork, if such a thing is if it's even real, It's instead on its socioeconomic effects. If it made money, if it was stimulating to this group, if it was useful to that group, right? Yeah, a lot of that comes from, obviously being like a multiplayer game where they just want to keep you engaged in that way, right? I think maybe multiplayer games come from wanting to suit a socioeconomic template, They come into existence because people are thinking of how to drape the skin of a game over that particular means of making money. I think that's what live service games are, in their very essence. What is Pretty
it?
much. It's like it's a template.
It's a means for making money. It's a storefront. It's a way to extract cash from people. And then you come along and you say, well, we could dress it up like space wizards. We could dress it up like pirate ships.
Which is so wild that last year, a Harry Potter single player game came out where they could have easily
went the live service route and said we're just going to make a crappy, multiplayer game in the world of Harry Potter and kind of chase that, like, and funny enough, the single player Harry Potter game was one of the most successful games that came out, which you would think is obvious because of the brand. Yes, Harry Potter is a massive seller, moneymaker just by itself, but again, like,
it's a different business model though, you see.
Yeah,
like
they went
you can make money making traditional video games
the way that we would like to see it, the way that we would like to play a novel style traditional game.
But from what I understand though,
not a money making machine.
People pursue those live service games because making a traditional game, you could make a lot of money even if it's spread out over time and you keep making some, but you probably don't make as much as a really successful live service game.
Yeah, the successful live service would be like,
you have those people they call whales, just floating around, like people with disposable income who you buy Elden Ring. You bought it once. You may want to spend more money, but there's just nothing else you can buy.
You could do, but other people
other games like this, you're like, I like Destiny 2. Every day you have all the money in the world. You spend $500 in the Destiny store. Why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds funny, but there's people like that. Just go look it up, man. Go.
Oh, it is. That's one of the root of one of the biggest problems with that is Diablo 4 is notorious for being the most egregiously nickel and diming game out there right now. And
really,
the fact
why they have an auction house in that
Diablo
too?
4 is it's just there's all kinds of stuff you can buy that microtransactions, crap, cosmetic skins, and they keep pumping them out like crazy. And
because it's free, it costs them nothing to make, bro.
Exactly, yeah. And like it's insane. Like the pricing apparently has gotten steadily climbed over the years, and things are just nuts. Like so, Diablo 4 is like basically the worst example.
Oh, you know what's pretty
greasy,
ridiculous?
Soulless cash grab garbage game, barely draped like a game over it, right?
I think that's a good example. It's it's where you see it's not now anymore like, you're this guy and you're working and Google is tracking your trip to work. It's now you only exist in your phone, right? Like the game is gone, bro. It's an afterthought. It's just a bunch of thrown together assets. What really exists is this template for taking money from people.
Yeah, exactly.
And for engaging them for a period of time, probably for advertising purposes, otherwise, right? Selling their data after you harvest it.
I can almost not get out of this mindset. I wouldn't even be able to play these games for that reason alone.
No,
like,
of course not.
Just it's a complete waste.
I don't doubt there might be some fun to be had, but
I mean, I really want to play something like Helldivers 2, but I just can't bring myself.
I can't either.
I don't think I can.
I can never play a live service game again. I don't care. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
it just can't be integrous. It can't have it can't have consistency apart from socioeconomic considerations, because all it is a fucking all it is a way for people to socialize at the end of the day. It depends entirely on relations to things outside of itself.
So what about then like Xbox and Indiana Jones, let's say? That's a single player game, right?
Yeah, but I mean, based on all the stuff we've talked about even a couple of weeks ago, like this is just a hollowed out husk, Indiana Jones. We even thought of that. Some dead guy from the 60s, you know what I mean?
It's
goofy boomer movie. I don't care about Indiana Jones at all.
Honestly, I would like it better if it was like in the style of Indiana Jones, but they made it just a new IP and made a new character. Maybe make it, you know what I mean though? Like just take the idea and sort of but obviously again, brand power, right? You don't just do that because new IPs are risky, but that's
all of this just proves the point, right?
Prefer anyway.
At the end of the day, they're being
that circles back to the point that it's just all about money, brands, this or that, and not anything.
The brand is no more a game than the money making scheme. It's just a series of images and popular associations that some guy sold you for millions of dollars. You can't make something on its basis. Actually, again, like the original Indiana Jones, I don't care about it at all, just to answer your question, but I especially don't care about this game,
Yeah.
It's the epic failure of Western civilization exemplified in Xbox,
That's a funny way to put it, but yeah.
It's like they take all of our worst social elements and just distill it.
Yeah.
And them buying Activision Blizzard, by the way, is also just, it's perfect. It's
perfect, yeah.
It's absolutely perfect.
They were like made for each other at this point. Just, suck it up. Yeah, we own you now. Keep making money-making crap.
I think the opposite of this kind of stuff, though, is the kind of things you see out of indie studios in the West, out of Japanese developers of all scales. Because, of
course, everything's monetized. Expect a return for something you make. People do this for a living, this and that, obviously. But, the thing has some integrity apart from its socioeconomic effects. It has an inner logic that's not impacted by how we buy and sell it. Once it's there, it's like reading a novel. It's its own self-contained universe, right?
That can live forever and ever. And as long as it's accessible, it can be played forever.
It's really an idea. The idea is it's instantiated in this matter, and now it's there for you, literally, like you say, forever. Like, you read the Odyssey from 2,000 years ago.
Thousands of years. There you go.
Exactly.
Same way. Like video games will continue to go on, and these will stay. And
that's exactly right. But think like a live service game, 2 years.
Well, then get shut down in the same year if it's not successful.
Silly. It's just a little. It's diversionary. You can't have serious ideas built into it, right?
Yeah.
Not like, you're playing something like Metal Gear, the first couple of Metal Gears. People are going to look back on those games. They already do, right?
Yeah.
They're ugly. They're old already, the first couple. And people are still like,
but they're amazing.
Them. Yeah. Now you can't even play like live service games from a couple of years ago.
No.
Silly.
Done. Gone.
Meanwhile, games like Demon's Souls, which did have multiplayer components, I just played it without those, and it doesn't even...
Yeah, it doesn't...
unless you're a scrub, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
you're not even
change
gonna notice
too much.
Unless you're like looking for
the whole game. It was just like a neat added feature while it's a current game, right? But
that's nice. I like that way that they leverage contemporary technology for supplementary features that don't compromise the integrity of the work. Yeah, that's
it's exactly a feature, right? It doesn't, like you said, compromise anything.
It's smart. And it really shows you how you can achieve a lot of the same kind of integration that live service developers purport they are looking for with that format without using that greasy format, right?
Yeah.
Like look at Monster Hunter, man.
True, yeah.
That game was everything a live service game could or would want to be. Like it was pretty much Destiny in the way that it was laid out and worked, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it always has been. That's just the way Monster Hunter
games You couldn't bump into other players in the open world. That's the only thing. But even in Destiny, it was instance. You could only see like 10 people at once. It wasn't some kind of crazy.
You don't really interact with them either anyway, right? You only can with your party and stuff,
nobody builds whole MMOs like World of Warcraft anymore anyways. Everything's instanced off. It's not like it really is of that. Maybe I could see the justification for like it being an actual giant world. Everybody's always populating together and stuff like this.
That's an actual MMO though.
Yeah. It doesn't even, nowadays they don't even make those.
Nah.
They don't even make those.
Why would you go up against WoW?
Why would you make this? It costs too much money. It's technologically complicated, right? Why would you do that? But just to say though, you could abandon the whole live service format, do what Monster Hunter does, do what Dark Souls does, still have the same features practically, and none of the greasiness, right?
True, yeah. Sell a full price game and
it could be independent, it could work DLC. After the servers are down, sell DLC. We can leave you though with a depressing bit of data, and I think it's something like 90% of developers surveyed in that game developers report from 2023 I was telling you about. Some big industry report compiled by some capitalists who deal in video games. It's apparently people refer to it as a fairly credible bit of information if you want to invest in the industry and stuff like this. And 90% of the 600 developers they surveyed are working on live service games.
Ugh, that's such an ugly statistic.
Yes.
But aside from that, there's still good stuff coming out. Not as many so far this year as last year, but last year was a boom year. But still a lot of optimism, of course. But
I think
not in so much in the Xbox camp, I would say.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
No Ubisoft games are coming that are good.
Ubisoft. Skull and Bones sucks. Apparently, I'm not even gonna play it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dragon's Dogma 2, actually.
True.
From that Itsuno guy from Capcom.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Rebirth should be good too. There's also the Vanillaware game from the guys who made Dragon's Crown coming. It's like an RTS, kind of like
cool.
Kind of like Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
It's called Unicorn Overlord.
Oh, that sounds cool.
We do have some pretty good games from big reputable developers coming this year, and we have the Elden Ring DLC.
Oh yeah.
Probably we won't see anything from Kojima though.
No. I don't think so. Death Stranding, not until like next year or something.
I think there's a couple of interesting Souls-likes coming out, but other than Dragon's Dogma 2 and Final Fantasy are going to be the big AAA releases from this year. Yeah, both Japanese studios too, so we don't have to worry as much about the problems that we've discussed here today.
Hopefully not. Yep.
I think we can leave it at that, maybe.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Don't play live service games, and we'll talk to you soon.
Oh yeah.